never, ever think you're anyone, because there's always somebody bigger, better, and that can teach you more. And if you keep that in your mind and you're always learning, because I learn off everybody. I learn off my manager in my restaurant. I learn off the chef. Yep. And one of my biggest mentors is my wife. So I ended up doing the nightclub with the hotel. And from those 5 tables, yep, in the VIP area, it turned to 1,500 people. And then those 1,500 people turned to 15,000 people over the weekend. If you think you're an entrepreneur, don't tell me that there's nothing that you can do right now and you have to wait and ride it out. You're wrong. Look for opportunities.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Inspire Pod with myself, Karan Kang. We bring you the best interviews with leading business people and entrepreneurs in their field. Today's guest was born in Leicester within a traditional Sikh family. He then entered the nightclub scene, promoting hip-hop, R&B and Bhangra nights across the East Midlands and owned his own nightclub. His company was then bought out by a Nasdaq-listed group, and he moved into a global director of operations and marketing, worked with companies such as ARM, Microsoft and Warner Brothers. When things didn't go quite as planned, he then moved back to Leicester as a doorman, picked himself back up and then took an opportunity to work with Pharrell, promoting him across Marbella, and then formed the Rich List Group. Working with worldwide stars such as Rick Ross, Busta Rhymes and 50 Cent across luxury places such as Monaco, Dubai and Marbella. He's now pushed on and founded the Hocco agency and most recently a mental energy drink as well. Our guest today is none other than Bally from the Rich List Group. How you doing, Bally? You good?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me on your podcast. I'm looking forward to the interview.
Yeah, likewise. Really excited about this and great to have you on. I know we gave a bit of a background there, but could you give us a bit of a deeper dive into your experience of how you got into nightclubs and then that moved on through marketing and working as the Rich List?
Contact and initial experience with the nightclub industry was when the A-level results were going on. So I used to be a kickboxer in those days, a little bit handy, everybody knew me. And a couple of my friends said, look, Bally, we're doing this A-level results party, yeah? Do you want to come and help? We're a little bit scared. We've got nobody on the door. Do you mind helping us do this doing this event? I was like, okay, why not? So I ended up, doing this event, helping them supervise the door, making sure everybody paid. And I enjoyed it. I said, this could be something I could get into. So slowly, I got into the industry and I started doing my own events. Opportunity arose back in the day when I was young, which was a long time ago, which was around 25 years ago. Nightlife wasn't the same. Clubs didn't allow Indians and black people into nightclubs quite as easy as they let them in now. Now we're a part of society and people perceive Asians and colored in a different way. So in those days, you couldn't get an R&B hip hop night. It was all about house. It was all about commercial music. If you were just an Indian with a group of white people, you still couldn't get into the club. It'd be like, you, sorry, mate. You're not wearing the right trainers or you're not wearing shoes. Anyway, always an excuse. So it wasn't as easy. You'd be lucky if we used to go to the daytimers, maybe a bit before your time. Yeah. So the Bhangra daytimers is, where we got in and we got into the entertainment lifestyle. So anyway, I befriended one of the managers of one of the main nightclubs in Leicester. And then it was called Flaming Colossus. Anyway, I was that one guy that got on with the manager. So I used to squeeze in, get into the nightclubs, no drama. I was lucky. Don't get me wrong. The same nightclub knocked me back maybe 3 times, 4 times in my, and they wouldn't let me in. It was like roulette. There's one doorman that didn't like me, wouldn't let me in. So, I had the same problems as any Asian or any person. It doesn't even matter, black, white, pink or blue. We all have that doorman that doesn't like us and they won't let you in the club. So anyway, I ended up befriending the manager and the club wasn't doing so well, right? And an opportunity arose where they were going to give me a Friday night. And this was unheard of. A hip hop and R&B night on a Friday, you'd get a bank holiday Sunday, you'd get something in the weekdays, but you'd never get a hip hop and R&B night on a weekend. It was unheard of. But this club was struggling. So they gave me my hip hop and R&B night. First week, 150 people came. I was like, this is a disaster. I thought it was going to be busy. Anyway, everybody enjoyed the experience. Second week, sold out. It was one of the biggest hip hop and R&B nights in the Midlands. It was called Soul Kitchen. Did very well. I remember those days well because what I used to do was I used to do the hip hop and R&B night on a Friday, then get into my van. I think it was a red Mazda van. Get into my van and drive to London and do the market. So just finish at 3 o'clock, drive, get to London around, set up the market store around 6 o'clock and start working throughout the day. So I wouldn't sleep and do my shift, sold my jumpers and whatever I used to do, got back in the van, drove to the next stop, then did the Sunday market and then drove back to Leicester, then started promoting my Friday nights again. So I did this for like let's say 6 months, right? And the night picked up. The Black Eyed Peas turned up, Cisco turned up. Cisco back in the day was like Jay-Z. So anyway, Truth Hurts turned up. Who else? Sean Paul. All these celebrities started turning up from London randomly anyway. So the club got a bit of a reputation. And what happened was the group of companies that owned the club went bankrupt, went into receivership. I got an opportunity to take on the club, so I did. Ended up refurbing it, making it in a nightclub, and it was one of the most successful nightclubs in the Midlands. I started doing concerts, and I did Sean Paul's first ever UK tour. I don't know if you remember, he did a track with Blue Cantrell.
Yeah.
That was his biggest track. That's what made him a superstar. So I did his first ever UK tour. It was Sean Paul, Cecile, and Mr. Vegas. Remember Mr. Vegas? Heads High.
Not him. That's probably before my time.
It was a track called Heads High, Kill 'Em With the No.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Mr. Vegas. Yeah. So anyway, it was my first, and we got an opportunity to do the opening party for the MTV Awards in Scotland. So a friend of mine was working with this Nasdaq listed this company that was on the stock market, and they wanted an urban feel and promotion for the event, for the brand. So I drove down to London, met with this company, and they said, look, what can you do for us? I went, look, give me a budget and we'll go and see what kind of exposure we can give you. So we did the marketing and PR, got them the exposure at the pre-party at the MTV Awards. They loved it. They called me back in after the event, said, did an amazing job. We really liked it. Can you tell us more about your company? We did a presentation. After the presentation, the CEO of the company said to me, how about you let us buy your company from you? We want to buy your company. And then the share price of that company was, I think it was 3 cents a share. Yep, 3 cents a share. They bought my company off me for £500,000, but in stock. So just imagine how many shares I had in their company. It was a lot of stock. Anyway, did the deal. We all moved to London, closed down the other company, moved into this company, and we started promoting this device. Ended up, I'm just trying to make things faster here, guys. So ended up being their global marketing director. And my job was basically to put out fires in the company. And whenever there was a problem, there was a negotiation to be done, a deal that needed to be cracked, a solution that needed to be put into place, I was the guy the CEO used to call into the office. So we used to do these conferences. It was a gaming device, right? Like the PS, let's say the PSP, the handheld game console. Ours was, we worked off a Microsoft platform. We weren't Microsoft partners. We were just using their chip and their processor. So we had nothing to do with Microsoft. We were buying the parts as anybody could, and we were using that processor for our gaming device. But the problem was we had this great gaming device, but PSP, obviously being them, had lots of opportunities and could get games. So they could go to EA Games and say, could you make us some games? EA would go, yeah, sure, no problem. Because they know Sony are going to put 150,000 devices into the market, no problem. With us, when we went to them, we said, well, we haven't got no devices in the market. They said, once you get 150,000 devices into the market, then we'll make games for you. We were stuck. We were getting games from like small game studios like Hangman, Tetris. You know, there was no credibility with these small games. When we went to investors like, okay, what games have you got on board? We were like, Hangman, Tetris. We're making up. There was no buzz because without content, you're not a king, as you know, especially these days. So we used to go to these gaming shows. E3 was one of the biggest gaming shows in the world, and it was in LA. And our biggest issue was the content. So, and then what happened was, because this was around the time of 9/11, right? My image wasn't very good for the company. And I remember the marketing director of Ogilvy's marketing director went into my CEO and went, Bally can't go to LA. He looks like a terrorist. He looks like Bin Laden. That's what he said. My CEO laughed his head off, called me into called me into his office with the guy being there. By the way, this marketing director, the guy from this company, I've already said the name, so it doesn't really matter, had a dog called Adolf. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, so my CEO calls me in. I went, Bally, this guy says that you can't go to E3 because you look, because of the way you look like a Muslim. And my CEO started laughing his head off and went to the guy, Bally's going to the E3. And he's one of our main people. We trust him, we love him. I don't want to hear it. Yeah, which was very, 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 made me very happy and proud to work for that company at the time. So he said, look, Bally, we can understand this point. You know, the Americans take your image and look a little bit dubiously. So be careful. I said, look, I completely understand. I can understand it's testing time. So I'll take a back seat and I'll just run the operation and I won't be in the limelight. So at that time, our whole idea was urban. So we used to have break dancers on the stands, cause attraction. People are like, wow, what's this place? Cool looking staff, pretty girls on the stand. So, you know, we'd make a show and a dance and people used to come to our stand to see what we were all about. Anyway, I'm in E3 and you went to LA. How many Indians do you see in LA?
Not even 5. I didn't even see 5 around Hollywood.
How many Sikhs with turbans?
Oh, none.
So anyway, that
was like 2019. Not even back
exactly, then. Yeah. So anyway, so I'm standing at the stand doing what I needed to do. So I see a Sikh, a full-on Sardar with a massive beard, big turban. He sees me, I see him. We go up to each other and say, Sat Sri Akal, how are you? And we start talking. And he goes, why are you here? I went, well, I'm the global marketing director for the company, and this is our product. So I showed him the product. He goes, I like this. I didn't ask the guy who he was, what he does, nothing at all. And he went to me, I like this product. Maybe I can give you some games. I was like, to myself, wow. Maybe, you know, he might be a software developer, it might be Hangman too. So he passed me over his card, and he was the managing director of Microsoft Japan, a guy called Bally Singh. Yeah. So 2 weeks later, I went to LA to meet him. A month later, we'd had a meeting with Microsoft, and Rockstar Studios, that are owned by Microsoft, started making games for our gaming console. As soon as we put the press release out that Microsoft was making games for our console, the share price from, I think it was $2 at that time, went to $32 a share.
No way.
Yeah.
16 times.
Yeah. Yeah. So my directors and my partners were very, very happy with me. I got a promotion. And then I ended up striking deals with Warner Brothers and many other people. We did other tours with Ludacris and other people as well. So anyway, that's what happened. We ended up moving to LA. They moved me to the LA office. Things didn't go so well. We had a bit of an incident with the company. Share price plummeted. I packed my bags, decided to come back to England, and with $3,000 in my pocket, I came. $3,000 is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. But came back to Leicester. I had bills to pay. I had a family to look after. So reality hit home, and I was never too arrogant or egotistical to think about anything else but paying the bills. So I became a doorman, became a security guard for 2 years. It was never hard for me to be a doorman because I don't have an ego. If you tell me to go clean the toilets today, I'll go clean the toilets today because I'll do a good job. That's the truth. Like we're in the lockup now. There's no cleaner coming to clean my house. Me and my wife do it, and we have a great time doing it. That thinks a job's underneath me. And if you have that mindset in business, you can't go wrong. So I became this doorman, and I became one of the best doormen the company had. I can say that. But I got comfortable. That's the truth. I got comfortable. I was trying to pitch my business to people, and people just weren't listening because they were like, come on, Bally, you're a doorman. You're just a doorman. And, I was like, no, I've done this, I've done that. I've worked for Microsoft. I did. It was hard for people to believe in me, but it was cool. And then what happened was I wanted to do another event. I thought, I'm going to do my own event. So I went to a place, right? I've never mentioned this in any other interview. I went to this place. I went to this place to see the venue, and they asked me about the security company, right? And they said, we use this security company, and I worked for that security company at the time. I said, I prefer not to use that security company. Yep, I prefer to use a different security company simply because I didn't want it to conflict. That got back to the owner of the company. He sacked me straight away. Yep. And I wasn't angry, bitter, or sore. It kind of gave me, it clipped my wings in a way. But it didn't clip my wings, it let me fly. Because I said, you know what? It's been holding me back. It's time, reality hits home, and I get a bit uncomfortable, and I start working and trying to get out there. And I started to hustle. I started to try to do other things. And I get a random call from a Spanish number saying, look, Bally, I've been told that you know a lot of celebrities, 50 cents in London. Do you think you can bring him to Marbella? I said, no, I can't bring 50 Cent, but I've got a really good relationship with Pharrell and NERD at the time. I said, what about them? They said, yeah, bring him. If you can bring Pharrell, we'll have him. So I ended up taking Pharrell to Marbella, ended up in a hotel in Marbella, a very established hotel now, Marbella. I won't mention the name. I became the marketing director. I got on with the owner. He liked my ideas. I was staying in the hotel. We started talking, and he realized I was the guy who was bringing Pharrell over. So he started talking to me, and he realized that I was a good contact, and I knew about the business. So he was like, Bally, how about you come work for me? I said, okay, let's do it. At the same time, another nightclub in Marbella found out I was there. They offered me a share in their nightclub. So me and this hotel owner ended up being partners in this nightclub together. So that's how the Marbella story started. And that's why I ended up in Marbella. And I ended up working here and then opening my own businesses and ended up with the Rich List group. So that's how it all started. And then from Marbella, a friend of mine called Jason Barana and Sterling were always saying, Bally, look, we're in Dubai. Whenever you want to come, it's a really good market. You could really do well out here. Just fly over. So I flew over to see Jason and Sterling in Dubai, and ended up staying and ended up opening clubs there, started marketing and PR there. And it grew. Certain individuals with very wealthy people started using my services, wanted to do private island parties, yacht parties, and it just grew from there. Then Manchester United. I met Rio Ferdinand through Trey Songz because I was Trey Songz' brand manager. Kevin Lyles came up. I met Kevin Lyles. He said, Bally, I want you to be the face of my management agency here in Europe. So I started brand managing Trey Songz and Nelly. So it all spiraled off that. And then Nelly came to Dubai and I was his manager there. You know, we did a lot of things together. So everything just snowballed after that. It kept on working. You know, those days were BlackBerry days. And I was on that BlackBerry, no joke, man. I was on that BlackBerry most probably at least 17, 18 hours a day. 17 hours a day, man. Just DMing people, you know, WhatsApp, sending the broadcast, just trying to get people to my events, to my parties. And it got there. And, you know, I slowly built my brand and people started accepting it. And then people started saying, Bally, how about you coming to open this club for us? Bally, how about you opening this restaurant for us? Bally, how about opening this place for us? And I started the brand and the agency, and it just grew and grew and grew. And I got the opportunity with my first opportunity with the Formula One and the race weekend was in Abu Dhabi. And I have a lot of respect for Abu Dhabi because they've shown me a lot of love and respect. And what happened was they offered me 5 tables in the VIP area. They said, Bally, bring your super VIPs to these 5 tables we've got. I think they had Nelly coming, Akon coming, and another person for the Formula One. And they said, look, bring your celebrities. I went, okay, cool. I'll bring my celebrities. I got on with the hotel manager. He was an old guy. He was old, but didn't look old. Mr. Humphreys was his name. Yep. He was the director of Viceroy Group, Viceroy Hotels, which is a very famous brand. Anyway, he grew a liking to me. Like me, he's a bit of the character himself. Older gentleman, always wore these sharp suits, pink shirts, very well presented. And we got on. And he always used to give me more than he should have because he had a fun spot because he saw the hustler in me. So I got on with him anyway. So he gave me they gave me those tables. And then the following year, Mr. Humphreys called me and said, Bally, that nightclub's not going to be there anymore. Yeah, that nightclub brand's not going to be in there. How about you do it yourself? You know, and you can have the whole nightclub. I said, I'm in. So I ended up doing the nightclub with the hotel. And from those 5 tables, in the VIP area, it turned to 1,500 people. And then those 1,500 people turned to 15,000 people over the weekend. So then they gave me an area outside overlooking the track. I signed a deal with the circuit, and we became an official Formula One product. And that's how it grew and grew and grew. And that's why we are where we are today. Touch wood and thanking God.
Yeah, what I love about that is, firstly, there's like so many journeys in one. But secondly, one thing you can see is, you know, people see everything that's great from the outside, but clearly you were hustling, you were working hard in the back. Can you give the, audience a bit of a background to the work rate that it took and, the mental strength that it took?
Look, guys, I had a budget. I didn't have a lot of money. And what I did was, I did what Instagram does now. I gave the perception of being bigger than I was actually, but never forgetting how big I really was. That was the key. And it's one of the keys to success. So if you are an influencer and if you have got a big social media following, do not forget you are what your bank balance states. not the other way around. Yeah. Now, people these days think their Instagram is their bank balance. It's not. Your bank balance is your bank balance. So if you've got 200 quid in your bank account, that's what you're really worth. Yep. So what I did was, and this is, I've never even told anybody this, but I'm going to tell you. So those days, it might be a bit dated. Maybe the older followers will understand. Did you ever have a BlackBerry?
Yeah,
before
yeah.
your time? Oh, you had a BlackBerry, yeah? So I had BlackBerries when they were black and green screen.
Can't even remember that.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Anyway, so when the BlackBerry turned into the color, then you could update your picture.
Yeah.
Right? You know, you could update your picture. All I used to do is update my picture. So I used to walk around these clubs, not actually be on the table. Yep. Just take a quick picture of the champagne, post it on my Instagram. Yeah, champagne show coming, record it, post it on, sorry, not on my Instagram, on my BlackBerry status. So all these people on my BB seeing my updates, and Bally's always at these parties, Bally's always popping champagne, Bally's always on these yachts, Bally's always on these private islands. And I started getting more and more people adding me to BBM. Yep, that was the way that I evolved. So I gave this image of, yep, you know, me with Trey Songz, me doing this. So everybody was like, yo, this guy, man, who is he? What? And I still wanted to work. So it wasn't like, oh, yeah, I'm this, don't talk to me. You'd be like, yeah, have you got anything for me? Have you got, work for me? And I was always up for an opportunity. So I kept my work rate up. And then I got introduced to Rio Ferdinand. And this was from a guy called Mahmood, right? Mahmood, yeah, one second, I'll tell you. So Mahmood was just starting Boohoo. I mean, he was an established businessman anyway, but he was just starting Boohoo. And he said to me, Bally, can you give me 50 cents again? I said, no, I can't get you 50 cents, but I'll try doing some other stuff. Anyway, Mahmood took me under his wing. Very nice guy. We went to dinner with Rio Ferdinand. Rio took a liking to me. Rio gave me his BBM messenger. We started talking, and Rio and me started working with each other. Then Trey Songz came to perform. Rio brought Manchester United to watch Trey Songz. Yep, and you might have seen it on my Instagram, me with Man United. That was when, me and Rio started. Rio came over to Dubai, and when Rio came over to Dubai, he bought Manchester United. They were training over there. Then I took Rooney, all of the team, to all the nightclubs, and it just grew, man. It was just, like I said, I was never, ever too egotistical. I wasn't the guy, and this goes out to promoters. Don't try to be the star of the show. Your spender, your client is the star of the show. Your client deserves the pictures. Your client deserves the attention from the girls, not you. A lot of promoters out there want to be the superstars, and it doesn't work that way. I don't drink anyway. Yep. So my rule was, I don't drink, I don't smoke. It's all about the client. If my client has a good time, he'll come back. And that's all I did. I went to work like it was work, made sure my client had a good time, went back home, put the DVD on, fell asleep. Next day, another client. That's all I used to do every day. And it was all about work. That's what my business ethic was. And slowly, it grew and got me to where I am today.
And at any point at that time, did you know where you wanted to take it? Did you visualize what you're working on?
I'm still not there, guys. Nowhere near. I'm no one. I am literally no one. I am nothing. Yeah. I am still on the first step to success. I've not even climbed it. So when, and I'm not saying this to you, but when the people listen to me, however many they are, do not think you're bigger than you actually are. Somebody starts making a couple of grand, they're like, oh, I'm making a couple of grand now. I'm the man. Listen, I don't need to talk to you. You're an idiot. Never, ever think you're anyone, because there's always somebody bigger, better, and that can teach you more. And if you keep that in your mind and you're always learning, because I learn off everybody. I learn off my manager in my restaurant. I learn off the chef. Yep. And one of my biggest mentors is my wife. Yep. You might have seen her on my Instagram. Anna is my business partner, and she is my life partner as well. She's taught me so many things and showed me the way I should speak to people and the way I should treat people and the way I should treat my family, the way I should accept my responsibilities. She turned me around into a completely different man. I'm very, very lucky to have this woman in my life.
That's amazing. And yeah, you mentioned there, it's on your Instagram and, see what a close couple you are and the influence she's had on you. I think I heard a story of you mentioned on an interview where she helped with your youngest son.
Yep.
She sent him back to Leicester to get a job, to teach him work ethic. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So what happened was, Anna, the very early stages, not very early stages, but, first year, she saw what was going on. She saw Indy, Rich List Junior, out of control, business class flights, really expensive tracksuits. And I was a single dad, throw money at it, didn't give my child enough time, didn't teach him the right ways, and he was going off the rails. What happened was we chartered a yacht. A friend of mine gave me his yacht for a few hours. So we were on the yacht. He thought he was DJ Khaled. So he was on the jet ski, with his phone in his hand like this, and he had a case, one of the waterproof cases, and he had a strap around his wrist. So he said to me, I went over a bump, the case opened and the phone fell straight into the water. He tried looking for it, got back to I'd left because I had to fly somewhere. So I'd left Anna and Indy on the boat. And he goes, oh, we need to go home and I need to get some money out of Dad's box to go buy another iPhone. And Anna was like, what? He goes, yeah, I've got to go and get she went, you're not taking £600 out of your dad's money to go buy an iPhone because you lost it. You better tell your dad you've done this. He goes, no, don't tell my dad. Yeah. She goes, you're not going to get the money. He told me. And I think at that time, Anna really had a go at me saying, look, he doesn't value money. And I really saw reality. And Anna said, you're going to have to sack him. So packed his bags, in the obviously nicest possible way, and said, right, you're going back to Leicester and you're going to go find yourself a job and you're going to really see reality. Got himself a job, £700 a month. Reality change. Going out with his friends, who haven't got enough money. He didn't have money because I didn't give him any more money. So he had to survive on that money. And he really realized a year later, he came and I said to him, do you want to buy a £3,000 tracksuit now? He goes, no, that will take me 5 months to buy. I went, there you go, son. It was easy when it was Dad's pocket, wasn't it? So he saw the value and he came back very humble. And ever since, the kid's a superstar. Don't like saying it in front of, or saying it, but he's on point. He handles all the reservations. He handles all the operations in Marbella. He is, an inspiration to kids out there. He's very young. He's very focused. He's trying to get a degree right now. He's at university in the winter, and in the summer he comes over here to work. And he helps me at the Formula One events all over the world. So he turned things around. So, it's about realizing your Instagram's your Instagram, guys. It's not reality. You still are broke if you've got nothing in the bank. You've just got pictures in front of somebody else's car. If you sit in your cousin's car, that doesn't make it your car. You understand? And if you want, and this is to guys out there, if you want to stand in front of a Rolls Royce and attract girls, that girl's going to find out sooner or later that you don't have a Rolls Royce. Yeah. And so you have to really understand that reality is reality. And the sooner you face it, the better. Anna's walking around in the background. She's making cakes.
Yes. No, that's wicked. And that's so real about Instagram misconceptions and, people portraying another life. And going back to what you mentioned about Anna, obviously she's got her own businesses as well, your business partner. As a couple, how do you balance that business whilst having a healthy relationship? Because it can be quite difficult to juggle things around when you're, working so hard.
I just, you know what? I just don't know how we do it. It's just, it's, you know, I just don't want to jinx my relationship. We spend 24 hours a day together. We don't leave each other's side.
Before COVID or just now?
No. Before COVID. We don't. COVID, we've been in this house for 8 weeks now. Yep. And the truth of the matter is, it's been amazing. It's been the best 8 weeks, you know, ever. I've recovered. I've lost weight. I went into lockdown at 76 kilos. I'm now 70. I've lost 6 kg just because of my diet, me looking after myself, us looking after each other, training together, working out together, spending time together. I've even lost gray hairs.
No way.
Because my mindset and the day-to-day pressures, don't get me wrong, there's been a lot of pressures with what's happening. But when you've got a strong partner and you've got somebody that you gel with, the sky's the limit, man. You know, and this is the truth. We all spend so much time, being with somebody that you know you shouldn't be with. And this is our parents' fault, us being Asian. You know, I love my parents and they are my mentors, don't get me wrong. But they put so much pressure on us because of what they want, and they forget to see what we need. So we end up in relationships and marriages that don't work, they're not functional. You end up spending years and years being somewhere, and then your parents realize they made a mistake, but then it's too late. So what I suggest is make sure that the person you do marry is your soulmate. Because if that person isn't your soulmate, you won't ever be happy, because you'll always be hiding from that person and you'll always be avoiding that person because you're not happy. You'll live separate lives and you won't be happy. And I blame Asian culture for this because, you know, I said this on another podcast yesterday, and I saw this when I was growing up, and the typical Indian family, not being disrespectful or rude, because I was a part of this, and I still am a part of this culture and this religion, and being Punjabis and being a Sikh is the most amazing privilege and honor I could ever have. But I saw so many young kids getting so many wrong directions in life. Let me give you a prime example. A typical Punjabi weekend when I was young. My other cousins, my family, right? It's Harbax's wedding. It's your cousin's wedding, right? Everybody gets dressed up. Dad spends 4 minutes in the Godra. Then straight to the local pub. Start drinking. The wedding's over. Everybody to the wedding hall. Dad gets drunk. Mum has to drive him home. So that's what you're teaching your kids. You're teaching your kids this culture. You're teaching your kids how to be alcoholics. And Punjabis have this problem. You understand? And the government did this to us. They wanted us to be alcoholics. They wanted us to be umali. They didn't want us to be educated. They didn't want us to be the way Maharaja Ranjit Singh was. He was one of the biggest and most honorable rulers of the world. From India to Afghanistan, he ruled. And we were intellectuals. We were warriors. We were the creme de la creme. And in those years when he was an emperor, when he ruled India, there was, let me just get this right. There was in the scrolls of the Roman Empire, they were complaining, the Senate was complaining on how much money the women were spending on Indian artifacts like tapestries, clothing, silks. They were all coming from India. It was affecting their economy. They were spending so much money with India. And then when the British came, that all stopped. And our economic growth was 0.2%, while the British Raj was in India. Do you understand what we were? We were rulers of a whole nation. We were looked up. We were the fiercest warriors that the world sees. Even the British honor us. Yep, because we fought for them. But we forgot all we were, and we ended up being drunks and alcoholics. That's what our culture came to. I'm sorry I'm getting a bit deeper, but that really hurts me. To being emperors sitting on golden thrones, to factory workers and foundry workers and their soldiers. Seriously, guys, the only person that can change your history is you. The only person who can change your future is you. And I'm very proud of who I am. And this is one of the reasons why I kept my identity, because I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of being a lion. That's what my religion tells me I am. Why the hell would I not want to be a lion? My culture, my religion. I'm a warrior. Yeah, my symbol is swords and throwing stars. Why the hell would I not want that? Carry on with what I'm saying. I know we're going to run out of time. One of the reasons why, and I think you might not know. Do you remember the song Munde Do Bachke?
Yeah. PMC and Great Twins.
So PMC and Cray Twins basically co-produced that track. Yeah, this is a fact. I've got albums, you know, the official album that came out. On the back of the album, the original album says co-produced by Cray Twins.
I remember that.
And then he took the name off. When it went to Jay-Z, and he said it was just him. Anyway, I invested in the Cray Twins. I was their manager and their business partner. Good friends of mine still now. And what I said to the Cray Twins, I'm not investing this money just because you're talented. I'm investing this money because I want every Sikh kid and every Indian kid, maybe Sikh, Muslim, Black, Asian, whichever ethnicity they are, you can make it and you don't have to change who you are. And that's the key. People have to understand, if I could get the Cray Twins to #1 with Patke and Bids opening the opening show to the Kiss Awards, they opened the show, then it was Sean Paul and Sierra and everybody else, but they opened the show. So if they can become these huge producers and artists, why can you not become a premier footballer? Why can you not become a cricketer like Monty Panesar became? Why cannot you be a rugby player? You can be whatever you want. Don't let the racism and the prejudice stop you. You have to let people see who you are and shine. If you don't shine and you don't stand out, you'll just be a part of the crowd. And this is the reason why I have my beard and I have my turban on my head, and why I stand out and people take notice of me. Just wanted to say that. Got a little bit deep there, but it's just the way I feel about my culture, my religion, and my roots.
No, definitely, man. And that's so powerful because it gives more background to you, your story, what we want to show, because again, people see the outside perception. They probably don't even know that you don't even drink, from what they see. So seeing that so deep, I'm passionate about it. I'll get carried away about that.
But it is about business. This is all about business. Yeah. Because we talked about how a race of entrepreneurs became alcoholics. You understand how, Guru Gobind Singh wouldn't even step into a field of tobacco. And we dived in head first because we were influenced and put on these substances. It's the truth, and it's happening in India right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Punjab's really bad. It's worse than like England, which is great. It is. And about that environment and being brought up, for entrepreneurs. Again, I read on one of your previous interviews, you said that you're working from age of 8 and 9 with your family on a market, and then obviously you gave the example of your son in India going back, getting a work ethic. What importance does the environment you surround yourself with have on wanting to become an entrepreneur?
It's everything. It's
Or
everything. It's everything. And kids say, oh, why did my parents stop me hanging around with this guy and this guy? Because you are what you eat.
yeah,
Yeah. And my French, shit splatters. It does. It doesn't matter. It does. And if you surround yourself around good people, you'll become a good person. If you surround yourself with gangsters, you'll become a gangster. If you surround yourself around athletes, yep, you'll become an athlete. Yep. So that's why your parents say, and why people say you are who you are. I think since I met Anna, we have less friends.
yeah,
Because you know why? It's because we rather be around ourselves instead of being around negative people. Some people, you'll realize, and this is me talking about business, they love drama. They'll be your friend because they want to hear the drama in your life. They want to see your downfall. But when you'll notice, and this is something I'm saying to people out there, business people out there, check out who those people are. Because when something good happens to you, are they there celebrating with you? But they're always there to hear about what went wrong. There's a lot of people around that. So I keep myself to myself. I have a very close circle of the people I work with and my team. And we just keep ourselves to ourselves because it's all about surrounding yourself with the right energy.
that's it. And around surrounding yourself with the right energy and environment, what else can you give anybody who wants to be more, do more in their careers or business? What sort of steps they should take?
Let me see. I think right now, let's talk about, I know we're not spoke about COVID and the environment we're in right now. You can either sit there and say, I've lost everything. You can sit there and read every Facebook post Karen puts up there and be a drama queen and saying, oh, this has happened now. Oh my God, it's not going to finish until 2025. It's not going to. Or you can see potential and look into the future and see possibilities. If you think you're an entrepreneur, don't tell me that there's nothing that you can do right now and you have to wait and ride it out. You're wrong. Look for opportunities. I launched an energy drink in these last 8 weeks, from design, manufacture, from tasting, flavoring, locked in a house for 8 weeks. We can't even go out the house. We can only go to the supermarket. That's it. If I managed to do that, why can't you? Why can't you manage to launch a cream? Why can't you manage to launch a vitamin? Why can't you launch an invention you thought about? Why can't you launch a website? Everything can be done by the touch of a computer, picking up a phone. There is opportunities right now. If you ever wanted to be an entrepreneur, this is your time. And seize the opportunity. And you're not being bad. Yep, it's a positive thing because there'll be people that lose money, but in the time of recession, there's a lot of people who make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Which one are you going to be? Are you going to be the one sitting there with your hand in your, saying it's the end of the world? Or are you going to think, right, I need to restructure my business and think of plan B? I need to think about online sales. I need to think about this. I need to think about this. I need to think about what people are going to need, what vital supplies, what vitamins people are going to need. People still need to eat. Yet drinking, alcohol sales, people tend to go out more when there's a recession.
Yeah.
So you see, there's always an opportunity. It's up to you to think about it. So right now is the time for you to act on opportunity. Because before, everything's got to its plateau in the UK. It's very hard to get into a market. Right now, there's opportunities, there's openings. Go for it.
That's it. So we had Paul Bassi on here a few weeks ago. He's got like a £400 million real estate and business portfolio. And he was saying he's really excited right now because this is exactly where you're going to make money on the buy. This is where you're going to get the opportunities. Of course, it's sad what's happening to people. You don't want a virus to affect people. You want to everyone stay healthy, but in business. There's not a better time.
It's opportunity. That's what it is. And you've worked hard for your money, and it's up to you where you invest your money. And if you invest it in the right place, fair play to you. You can't be angry at anyone. You can't say, how can you be profiteering on this? There's companies profiteering on medicine all the time. They make billions. I know multi-billionaires that have to hide because they have that much money and they can't be seen in the public eye. Because if anybody sees them in the public eye and they see the properties and the jets and everything they own, they'll get themselves in trouble. They don't want to be seen. So if they can make all of this money, why can't you?
Exactly.
That's the truth.
And before we wrap it up to the final round, obviously you've had such a interesting, exciting journey. You just mentioned your energy drink, which you've launched, and the work that you do with F1 as well. Where do you see yourself being over the next 10 years? What's next for you?
Only time will tell. Only time will tell. There's quite a few projects in the pipeline. We really don't know. We really don't know where we'll be. I'm happy. The truth is, I'm happy where I am.
Yeah.
Even if I stay sustained like this, I'm happy. I keep learning, keep educating myself, and growing as a person, enjoying my life, enjoying my family, and enjoying these moments. And that's what I'm doing. And my message is to everybody, okay, we've all had problems. We've all lost money, but we have our health, we have our families. What more do we want? If you lose your life and one of your loved ones, what have you got? Nothing, right? So be grateful for what you do have, not what you've lost. Brilliant.
And just moving to the final part. So as quite typical on a lot of podcasts, it's a quick fire round. So you can answer any.
Okay. I wasn't ready for this one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in.
One word or one sentence, just 5 questions. First one, what does success mean to you?
Being able to provide for my family.
What would you prefer to work for, money or your passion?
Passion.
What was the most memorable party you've hosted?
The one I did for my father. It wasn't a party, but it was an event where our family got together, and it was amazing. Just family time. That's the best party for me.
Yeah. If it's not too private to say, could you give a bit of a background on that?
Well, if you want me to say, but it'll take 5 minutes. So.
Oh, really? we can chop it in.
Okay. So what happened was, I met a Punjabi brother on an aeroplane coming from Dubai. We were on the way to Spain, and he was sitting opposite me, and we started talking Punjabi. Come on, it's in our blood. We have to talk to everybody. So we started talking, and I said, "Oh, you going back to London?" He goes, No, I'm just connecting to Marbella. And I was like, "Oh wow, we live in Marbella." And the hotel he was staying in was behind my house, by coincidence. And I said to him, "It's not a great hotel." Anyway, long story short, his hotel wasn't great. I moved him into my penthouse, which I have in the port. He basically, I didn't know I didn't know who he was, but, we got on, and, his family, I met his family. I said, "Look, move into the penthouse. It's nicer. It's available. Take it." Anyway, he offered me his house, and I didn't know what house it was, but it happened to be a country estate. I mean, it was a mansion. Yep, it was a country house. This was the family who invented fox hunting.
Oh, wow.
That's the house. Anyway, it was a beautiful, beautiful property. And Anna said, "We're taking him up on the offer. Mom and Dad are coming." Yeah. So Anna basically arranged it all. We all basically came, my mom, my dad, my kids, and we all spent the weekend in this house. I brought my local Punjabi chefs from a restaurant I know, and they cooked for us every day. And we had this huge dining table. And every day we just had these amazing meals. My uncle came over, surprised my mom and dad. It was just the best weekend ever. And the reason why I say this was the best party of my life is because I always get emotional. I've never seen my father as happy as I saw him that weekend. Seriously, he just brought so much happiness to me. And fulfillment. And I can only thank Anna for that, because she's the one who forced me to do it and go there. And it was amazing.
That's magic.
When you can put a smile on your parents' face and make them proud, there's no other achievement. There's no other achievement bigger than that to me.
Love that. That's amazing.
Yeah. Sorry about the long story.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
No, I might have to edit that to the final one, because that was a lot better than I feel like the next two questions are just like downhill from the answer.
Sorry.
But fourth one, if there's one celebrity who you haven't yet worked with, but you would like to, who would that be?
Anna just said J-Lo.
Yeah.
For me, I just don't have one. I don't care about celebrities.
Yeah.
It's the truth. I just don't care. They're just people to me. I'd love to meet. I think Al Pacino.
Okay.
I think that's one of the people I'd love to meet and work with. But Anna loves Julia Roberts as well. She's an amazing person as well. I've seen a lot of her interviews.
We'll go Al Pacino and Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
And what's the one biggest skill set you'd say you've had that's contributed to where you are now?
Being humble. Always willing to learn. Not knowing everything. That's what's got me to where I am. And I still have a lot to learn. I never give up, obviously.
Yeah, no, that's so good. And I know
my wife is dancing in the background.
We'll have to get her on another episode with her businesses as well.
You really should.
Yeah,
you really should.
I'll definitely.
This woman is amazing. She never ever she stays in the background. But seriously, if you ever want to podcast with Anna, I'd love it.
We'll definitely be down.
There we go. She's in. She's still dancing, by the way.
Secured. And obviously, you've got a great social media presence. Where can people go to follow you? Follow, your new energy drinks business, etc.
Just go to Rich List Group. That's the best place. I've got my social media, Rich List Bally, but I'm not so exciting. Go to Rich List Group. That's where our events are. Our website, www.richlistgroup.com. Go there and you'll get all the updates and all the events and everything we're up to.
Wicked. Now, look, great speaking to you once again. Love the background and understanding more about yourself. And to everybody else listening to this or watching, follow Inspire Pod, give us your comments and thoughts, and really looking forward to the next one. Cheers.
Take care, my friend. Thank you for having me.
Cheers, man.